The following is paid programming. Welcome to Something More with Kristen Boyd, certified financial planner practitioner and founder of Asset Management Resources, LLC, a registered investment advisor firm. We call it Something More because we like to talk not only about those important dollar and cents issues, but also the quality of life issues that make the money matters matter. Here he is, your fulfillment facilitator, your partner in prosperity, advising clients across the country, your host, J. Christopher Boyd.
All right. Thank you. Welcome to the program. Thanks for being with us. Again, I'm joined by Jeff Perry and Scott Birmingham, both of our firm, Asset Management Resources. And this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about changes. And of course, just like we've been talking about New Year's resolutions and, new beginnings this time of year can bring, we're going to talk a little about some changes, some new beginnings happening with Asset Management Resources. And before I do that, I want to make sure that I take a moment to thank Capital Payroll, who has been an advertiser on our radio program. For those listening by podcast, you don't get those advertisements, but Capital Payroll has sponsored our program since day one, 16 and a half years ago. And has been a partner with us throughout the time we've been on the show. And I want to thank them for all their years of support as well. And as encourage you, I have been an employer, and as an employer, I have been a user of Capital Payroll services. And I have to tell you, as I say in those ads that we just ran, they make my life easy. They really do. And if you are someone who owns a business and deals with payroll, if you're doing it yourself, don't waste your time. It's modest expense, and the professionalism they bring to it, they really do make life easy. And I will tell you, I really don't have to worry about these deadlines that I watch people I know who handle their own payroll. And, they're on this clock every, pay period. They have to make sure they get the money in. And, if not, there's fines and penalties. And all. I don't deal with any of that stuff. It's so much easier. So make your life, we're talking about time and the value of time.
Right.
There's only so much time. And this is one of those easy ways you can make your life a lot less stressful and a lot easier with people who know what they're doing and will do it well for you. So if you haven't used Capital Payroll, give them a call. You'll be happier for it. I am confident of that if you're anything like me. And I have nothing to say but high praises for their services. Pam Griffin has been a real partner for us, done a great job. Similarly,
way too many opportunities to make mistakes or miss deadlines on payroll. To try to do it yourself as a small business.
It's just don't give yourself that headache. I know, the challenge sometimes is cash flow. I want to, we're going, from scramble to scramble, make sure we have the funds, but there's ways to plan for that, and they can help you think that through about how to do that in a way that's, going to be manageable for you. This is sometimes one of the good uses of a line of credit if you have that kind of challenge, but operations, certain times a year or whatever it might be. But you do have to be deliberate. You have to pay attention to it. But I think there are ways you can plan for that and really take some of the stress out of your life. I also want to mention that this last commercial set is last time we'll have an advertisement for Boyd and Boyd on our program. So I want to thank Boyd and Boyd as well. As everybody knows, we're located in the same office suite as Boyd and Boyd. My brother's estate planning law firm used to be my dad's, but he's the other Boyd and Boyd and Boyd. We've had a great partnership with them over the years with trying to help clients that we share, mutual kind of clientele that overlaps. And so, it's not that we won't be working together. We'll still have the opportunity to work together. We still are in the same office suite and all of that. I'll tell you why we're making some of these changes. So we are partnering with another investment advisor firm, Wealth Enhancement Group, Wealth Enhancement Advisor Services to be specific. And Wealth Enhancement Group, WEG, sometimes we'll call it, is we've chosen to coordinate our from working independently as a registered investment advisor firm to working with them. And there's a lot of reasons going into it, but I will say we're really excited about the possibilities that this is going to bring to our clientele. Not only will we have a lot of the same benefits that we have as a smaller firm as Asset Management Resources. And by the way, we're going to be the AMR team of Wealth Enhancement Group, so still have some of that identity, but we've got some of the same key players. Scott's going to be helping us with the financial plans. Brian Regan will be helping us with the portfolio management. Jeff, obviously, helping with all that he does with our clients and with the show and so forth. So Kristen is here. I'm here. Nothing changes in that respect. We're still the same team working with our clients. The part of the rationale that we wanted to have this interaction, this relationship by working through Wealth Enhancement Group is the idea that we need sometimes to have redundancies. What if we have the loss of a key player in our team? Scott, for example, does a great job, but if he were not to be able to do his work, what would we do? How would we replace him? Well, we could go out and find a new person, but having a larger organization to be a partner with will help us not to be in a bind. If Brian Regan were to not be well or something and he weren't able to do his work, we have resources to draw from to help in that process. If I were to get hit by a proverbial bus, right, whatever it might be, one of the things I'm worried about is, are our clients well served? Will they continue to be well served in the absence of some key player? And so this will help us to be sure that we have that kind of opportunity for continuity in a way that we don't as a smaller independent firm. Additionally, there's going to be a great deal of resources that we'll have available to us. With a national firm that has a Wealth Enhancement Group, by the way, is a national firm. And next week or 2 weeks from now, we'll have an opportunity to talk with the CEO of Wealth Enhancement Group and have a lengthy conversation to give you a lot more information about
on the show.
On the program,
right?
For our listeners and for our clientele, anyone who wants to listen in and hear about it. So we'll have that special guest, and we'll talk more about the firm and all of its depth of resources. But among the things that I'll highlight, there are a number of things that obviously Wealth Enhancement Group as a national firm has great investments and planning resources. But there's a team, there's a multitude of advisors with their own areas of expertise. And so as we come into circumstances with clientele that may have their unique issues, our area of focus and expertise relates to the issues of retirement, people who are in retirement or approaching retirement. But now we're going to have people who have expertise in other areas as well to draw from, to tap into. We don't do many retirement plans that are, 401ks as an example. They have a whole department of people that we'll be able to draw from and help our existing and maybe future retirement plan clientele to make sure we're doing it well, and best practices and best plans and all the rest. When it comes to tax planning, they have a great deal of emphasis on tax planning. I'm really impressed by that. In fact, whether it's doing taxes, with our clients potentially, we can, utilize the Wealth Enhancement Group's services that they can actually do tax preparation. Or if it's just the idea of we've got an interesting case that we have some challenges, what would be the right way to approach this from a tax planning point of view? We'll have resources to draw from that will be helpful in these kind of specialty circumstances. I'm just kind of scratching the surface. Whether there's a need for an insurance policy or something like that, we, as you know, we don't make an issue of selling product, but sometimes people still have a need for an insurance assistance. So we'll have the opportunity to refer people to other parts of the business that if they should need that, there'll be a resource for that. I'm just trying to think of all the various possibilities. So there's so much that that will be beneficial. So our goal is really to think about, what do we do well? How can we free up time to, just as we were talking about capital payroll, in my case, I'm going to have the opportunity to relieve our team of some of the things that are not where our time is best spent by this relationship. So, Scott is our chief compliance officer. About 30% of his time is spent on those kinds of activities. And Scott, do you think really you're going to miss the regulatory upkeep of all our documents and having to, be mindful of prompting our employees, hey, don't forget we need this filing, or we need these reports, and we need your statements, or whatever it is. There's a lot of things that go into the regulatory work that's not really the best use of our team's professional time.
I will miss it like a bad rash, Chris.
Yes.
But yes, that frees up a lot more of my time, to focus on the planning piece. So that's fantastic.
So it's going to help us to do the things we do well. Thinking about what are our benefits package for our employees, or, some of these regulatory considerations, just the weekly, even though we don't deal with the payroll process directly, we're involved in saying, hey, what's your hours? What's your time? Any vacation days? There's just administrative life. When it comes to some of the administrative life of just paying bills and invoicing, and I mean, a couple of days of my quarter, probably 3 days of my quarter at least, are chewed up in dealing with invoicing and all that goes into behind the scenes of doing our fees. That's going to free up time. So a lot of the goal of our interest here is to free up time so that we have more time to do the things we do well, which is spend time with our clients and give counsel and manage their portfolios and review, are there things we should be doing differently proactively. And so I think this is going to be a win for us, a win for the clients, and it'll be hopefully a win for Wealth Enhancement Group as we continue to be growing as a business.
Chris, as we have been sharing this good news with our clients, the number one question when I speak to my clients, the number one question that I get is, Chris Boyd is staying, right?
Yes, we are. So this is one of those nice arrangements where as much this is kind of, I think, a first step in an evolution. Kristen and I, owners of the company, are not indirectly, but we're not going anywhere. We want to be in a position where we still have some ownership of the larger entity, but we're also really intending to say this is kind of the first step in a longer term succession planning. So someday I will retire, and I hope, God willing, right?
Let us know if you need a plan.
Yeah, thanks. But it is part of my plan, right, the idea that at some point I want to be in a position to be able to step out of the picture. That's not today. That's probably closer to a decade away. I hope, it's like something longer term, but why? Well, why is this a part of that process? Well, we did a great deal of extensive research and talking to a variety of companies that anyone who's in this industry, in the financial services, portfolio manager or wealth manager or financial planner, you get a lot of calls from firms inquiring, are you interested in partnering or selling or some kind of an arrangement? And we have not really entertained it before. But as I said, because of some of the thoughts I had as the year progressed about some of the what ifs, it started me thinking, maybe we should explore this. Yes, maybe if something happened to Scott or Brian or me, there might be an opportunity to outsource in the process, but is that really the best way to do it? And so we kind of looked at that a little bit, and then I started looking at this. And we really went through an extensive process of looking at different companies and different possibilities. And we really felt that there were a few that looked really attractive, but Wealth Enhancement Group was really the one that kept, coming to the top. We thought they really are doing it right. They just seem like they're real professionals in the process. Why? They really put the client first. When it's amazing to me the amount of emphasis and time and tech that they put into technology, and the security of their client information is hugely important to this company, which is definitely comforting to me, and it tells me a lot about the eye for detail. They're about the client relationship. That's like the paramount kind of consideration. When it comes to technology, they've got the best technology, which means we'll probably have some changes, upgrading some of the systems we use. But Scott, we can talk about the financial planning programs, right? We looked at a number of financial planning programs. We're really happy with the one we used, but there was one that we looked at as well that was maybe a little bit more expensive and maybe a little more robust, but that's the one they want us to use.
Yeah, great program. I've used it in the past. It was more than we needed. That's probably the biggest reason, but it still can obviously do what we want. Has a great external face for clients to use, and if they want to attach their accounts and budgeting and all these different things. So it's really a great platform.
We're finding that with other programs as well. So that's, the financial planning when it comes to our portal and the portfolio management kind of systems. We have some great programs, but there's ones that we've looked at. I've looked at many times for a client portal and reporting and fee calculation and all that goes into that. And kind of thought, just what a big undertaking to migrate. Well, it's one thing if you're a small company and it would be disruptive to your ability to do things. It's another thing if you're dealing with people who have, the resources to have full-time people navigate you through that. And so we're going to have the opportunity for an upgrade there as well. Lots of things like that, but it's impressive to me the technology that they are really, relative to what we've used, it seems like the changes we're going to be making seem like an upgrade for where we're going to be making those changes. There's, we'll have some internal systems that'll just be different, but give us a week or two, a month, it'll be old hat by then. But fortunately, we don't have to worry about any changing of client accounts. The custodian's the same. That's a big deal.
That's another question that people had. Do I have? Yeah. I have right now. We use Charles Schwab, and we're happy with it. And clients, I think, are happy with it. So that they were happy to hear
after having gone through the change that when Schwab acquired TD Ameritrade, right. We didn't necessarily choose that transition, but we didn't want to have to go through that again. So that was actually a big criteria consideration as we looked at who we were going to select if we went down this path.
That we didn't have that change
problem as a change. Yeah, I just didn't think that would be something clients would really want.
Another big question that people have, at least in my experience, is one of the reasons that they initially came to you and Kristen, Asset Management Resources, is because you're local. You have a Cape Cod office. You don't have to travel to the big city to actually sit in front of someone that can make decisions and help them make decisions. So I want to share.
Yeah, so that's not changing. We will still continue to have a Cape Cod presence. Right now we're in this office. We're not changing that. Our lease comes up at the end of the year, and because there's a cell tower going into our backyard, Boyd & Boyd wants to relocate sometime later in the year. We get to like October, November. So, that's something that wasn't related to this event, but we will have a change in location when that happens. But
still on Cape Cod.
Still be in Hyannis.
Right.
We expect, it'll be local, and it'll be for now. You can, it's the same offices right here in Hyannis, 1060 Falmouth Road, and perhaps in when we do have a change, later in the year, 2024, it'll still be Hyannis, just a question of I don't know yet where it'll be, and hopefully we'll be in close proximity to Boyd and Boyd again as well, if we can make arrangements where we can find space that is accommodative for both our needs.
Yeah, it's important. It's important to a lot of people to be able to, even though maybe they won't, or maybe once a year, but to have that ability to walk in and talk to you, Kristen.
Yeah, I think we usually, as you know, we usually do things by appointment, but
Sure.
but there is the reality that that's part of what people like.
Right.
Is face to face. We can do things virtually these days, and more people are accustomed to that and comfortable with it when it's necessary. But it's not the same. And given the choice, most of our clientele would opt to have that in-person experience. We want to retain all the kind of things that we think we do well, and part of that is that personal, intimate kind of relationship. I didn't go back to talking about the first question you said a lot of people ask is, are we staying? And the answer is yes. And I think it's likely for the better part of a decade. And I'll tell you why, because right now, if something happens, I don't have like a new me. Scott is about the same age as I am, as are you, Jeff. We don't have someone who can be that next generation planner. And it's going to take time to find that person and to make sure it's a person that, one, has the kind of knowledge that our clients will have confidence in, and that they're, empathetic, and they're, caring, and, that they have the right skill set, this combination of knowledge, professional knowledge, as well as they're a listener, first, because that's really, what's most important initially is that you're listening in and trying to identify what does that mean for the possibilities. So we'll be talking about this much more in the weeks and months ahead. It's exciting about the new possibilities, a little bittersweet as we say goodbye to our friend, the AMR logo, as I have it right behind me here. And but there'll be a lot of exciting new opportunities that we'll be bringing to you over the show over the next many weeks and months. So with that, as we think about our new year and new beginnings, this is one of those big events for us, and we're excited to share it with you. If you want to learn more, if you'd like to reach out to us and talk to us about our offer or any other aspect of your financial planning or portfolio management, please give us a call, 508-771-8900, or toll free 866-771-8901. You can always reach us as well through somethingmorewithchrisboyd.com. Until next time, everybody, Happy New Year, and keep striving for something more.
Thank you for listening to Something More with Chris Boyd. Call us for help, whether it's financial planning, portfolio management, insurance concerns, or those quality of life issues that make the money matters matter. Whatever's on your mind, visit us at amrfinancial.com or call us toll free at 866-771-8901 or send us your questions to radio@amrfinancial.com.